My name is Gabriella and welcome to Pure Light Fiber, and thanks so much for tuning in today. In today's video, I want to share the best websites where you can get that clean, Scandinavian, expensive looking knitting pattern designs for absolutely $0. Some of these websites you may have heard of before, others might be completely new to you. But I'll go over all of them with you and I'll show you how to filter those websites that you can see only the free patterns. Some of these free patterns are on Ravelry, some are not, but if we go directly to the source, e.g. these websites, they're going to be so much easier to look over and browse versus if you were going to Ravelry, which has the huge database of all different kinds of designs. If you like this kind of content, I have more free knitting pattern videos in my playlist, which I'll link up here if you're interested in that high-end Scandinavian look. So today's video is going to be a little bit different format just because I'm going to be showing you my screen as well. I have my laptop placed down here, so I'll be looking down, and I'm screen recording as well so I can share. But the first website I wanted to mention is called Novita. So Novita is a Finnish yarn company. They sell yarns. They have a massive amount of patterns, free patterns on their website. And also, good to know for us, is that Sari Nordland used to work for Novita, and Novita actually provides all Sari Nordland's knitting patterns for free on their website. So let's take a look and I'll show you how to get there. If you type in novita.com on your browser, you'll be directed to a Finnish website. If you want to translate this website easily into English, there's a little tip for you. Just do / in the address and type in EN, hit enter, and voila, you'll have the whole website in English for you. If you want to go to the patterns, you'll have patterns right here. Click on that and click all patterns, for example. And there you go. They have Novita offers free and paid for patterns. You'll see a little icon here on the left hand side on each picture indicating if it's free or to purchase. And I believe also that even if you buy a pattern from Novita, if you buy 2 skeins or more of their yarn, all knitting patterns become basically free. I think they have a similar system to Sandnes Garn, just that their barrier to get the knitting pattern for free is a little bit lower. I don't think you have to be purchasing the whole amount to make a sweater, for example, if you're interested in the sweater pattern. But in any case, here you'll see free patterns as well as buy for patterns. If we go on the filter criteria here, we scroll down a little bit, you'll see a button called availability. Open this and you'll see a little box saying free, check it, and click apply. So now all the patterns here will be free, and you see that there's some beautiful patterns here. We're looking at some sock patterns right now. Here's some beautiful cabled slipovers, v-necks, sweaters. There's also beautiful cable cardigans right here, which remind me of some of the Kutovakika designs that she has paid for. So again, a lot of beautiful designs here. Let's click into one of these patterns and we'll have a look at how they're described. So if we click into one of these patterns, you'll see here a little box with sizes and measurements. This will just tell you how big the sizes come in and what the finished dimensions will be. And here you'll see the yarn and needle recommendations to construct or finish this pattern. Easily switch this to instructions over here, and then you'll have the whole instructions for the whole knitting pattern right here on your page. A little bit to note for you as well for each step. So for example, you start with the neckline with this pattern. Every time you finish a section of the pattern, you can just click finished here and you will know exactly where you are. If you don't like working directly from a browser tab like this, you can scroll all the way down to when the knitting pattern is finished, press print, and you can save this as a PDF. The PDF or the print function will automatically bring the whole knitting pattern as a PDF document right here. You'll see if we scroll all the way down, all the instructions will be listed here. If we save this now as printed PDF, print it, this will automatically be saved to the destination that you choose. I'll show you quickly how to get Sari Nordland's designs as well, if you're interested in that. go up here to the search bar, type in Sari Nordland. So let's do this, Sari Nordland. Hit enter and you'll see she doesn't have any products on the website, but she does have some instructions. So let's see these instructions. And if we click here, you'll see 113 knitting patterns by Sari Nordland. I just want to be clear here that Sari Nordland used to be an in-house designer for Novita, and Novita is releasing her patterns that she wrote while she was at Novita on the Novita website. And they're also crediting her as the designer, so we know what she has designed. So if you're interested in any Sari Nordland designs, obviously go check out this Novita website. It's great. As I said, 113 of her designs here for free. And these are different designs than she has paid for. So these designs she really created for Novita during her time there. And then she has different patterns that she's created after she left Novita. So these are not the same patterns that she is currently selling on her website or on Ravelry. But again, there's some beautiful designs here. If we go down a little bit, you'll see a cabled dog sweater. We have a beautiful cardigan. Click more. So she really has some great designs here, some blankets. And one of my favorites by her as well is this Nietos cable sweater. It's a beautiful cabled sweater, and it really looks like designs that she is currently selling as well. So definitely high quality knitting patterns that we can find here on this website. Another one of my favorites is the dress. So this is a colorwork dress, North Star, and it's super beautiful in my opinion. If I ever have enough time, I'd love to cast something like this on. It would be just such a beautiful piece for winter, in my opinion. That was the Novita website. So the second website that I'd like to share with you today is Sandnes Garn. And you know, Sandnes Garn does offer a lot of free knitting patterns, but I've heard in my comments a lot of people saying that, you know, Sandnes Garn you can only get free patterns on Sandnes Garn if you purchase their yarn, which is not true actually. You can filter the website as well for free patterns, and then, you know, there'll be an array of free patterns that you can choose from without purchasing Sandnes Garn yarns. So I figured I'd include this website in my list today, just so we're all on the same page with these free patterns here. So if you type in sandnesgarn.no, it will take you to this website that you see right here. You can click English to take you to the .com website, and we'll be on the home page. We click on patterns over here, and then Sandnes Garn has a lot of paid and free patterns. I would say most of their patterns are paid for. However, what I have noticed in the past is that patterns that were in their booklet, for example, before, you know, as a collection, maybe 10 patterns in a booklet, now have been released for free as free digital downloads on their website. So this is, in my opinion, great to know. For example, one of the patterns that I have been eyeing, a summer pattern actually called the Lola dress. It was in one of their summer magazines. I unfortunately wasn't able to purchase that booklet, but then when I was digging through the Sandnes Garn website, I actually saw that now this Lola dress is for free. So I could just I downloaded it, and then I'm probably gonna knit it sometime in the future, maybe in the summer. So let's have a look. Let me show you how to filter the website here to get to those free patterns. So you click on patterns over here, like I mentioned, click on filter, and then you see a little box here, says free patterns, and click the all free patterns. So there's two different options here. You'll see all free patterns is 624 free patterns they have currently, and this month's release would be 8 free patterns. So I'll click into all free patterns and let's have a look. So a lot of free patterns here. I'm gonna show you some of my favorites, if you don't mind, suitable for women. So women garments, they have 220 free patterns currently, so let's check them out. All right, we have some more debutante. So here is the Lola dress that I've been talking about. So if you're interested in purchasing or downloading any of these patterns, just click on the icon and you'll be directed to a page looking somewhat like this. you need to select the pattern language that you want to download to. So typically there's 4 different languages. We have Norwegian, Swedish, English, and German. So in my case, I'm going to be choosing the English version and downloading it. And you'll see immediately there's going to be another pop-up in the browser up here, opening up this tab. And we see the Lola dress pattern, just like it is in those pamphlets, those Sandnes Garn pamphlets right here on our screen. So the Lola dress is definitely one of my favorites. And another one I love is the Wilbur sweater. So the Wilbur sweater is a great pattern. It was also, I think it was a paid for pattern. This was also one of those patterns that I saw in a booklet before, and now, good news, it's free on their website. So again, I just click in to English, download the pattern, and there's no yarn purchase needed to get to this knitting pattern. Okay, so that was how we can find free patterns on Sandnes Garn. Moving on to one of my all-time favorite websites for free knitting patterns. It's going to be maybe a little obvious to you guys, but I definitely needed to include them because they have beautiful patterns out there, and they have so many. They have such an extensive library of free patterns. I know that some people don't really like, it's kind of split. Some people really don't like using drops. Some people love using drops knitting patterns. I'm in the camp of I love drops knitting patterns just because, there's so many alternatives. There's so many versions of patterns on drops. And there's so many knitting patterns on drops. And I love how they always answer and respond to questions on the websites, which obviously if you're buying a paid pattern, they do that as well. But just given the fact that these patterns are free, it's just like an extra service that we're getting. And also note that for any drops pattern, you don't need to be buying drops yarn. So these are all freely available. So let's look at them. If you go to the garnstudio.com website, you'll be on the drops homepage. So to go to the free patterns, it's super easy. All of the patterns on their website is free, and they even have as the first tab right here, free patterns. So we click in here and you'll see, there's literally thousands of free patterns here. So what we can do if you want to go to the most updated collection of drops, they always come out with some new collections of free patterns every so often. But you'll see here a tab called Collections. Click on Fall and Winter and you'll be directed to the most recent publications of the drops patterns. So let's look at the first one in here. These are knitting and crochet designs. So you'll see a beautiful drop shoulder. We'll have some slipovers, beautiful cable slipovers right over here. We have something super similar that what we're seeing now in paid versions, as well as some dropped shoulder. I think this is, European shoulders. So again, Drops is a great website in my opinion. Obviously, if you're not into the whole Drops thing, just skip that for now. But I am of the opinion that Drops is great. So I definitely wanted to include them on the list. And considering they're also a Norwegian yarn brand, they definitely fit the bill for Scandinavian chic knitting patterns. Website number 4 is, in my opinion, kind of a well-kept secret. So it's the Filcolana website. Filcolana is obviously also a yarn producer, a Danish yarn producer. So definitely also fits the bill for Scandinavian knitting patterns. And what they do, as far as I know, is they commission independent knitwear designers to come up with their collections for their yarn. So they're free knitting patterns. So if we look at their website, as far as I know, all of their patterns are for free. But if you go to the website, so filcolana.com, you'll be able to go to their patterns section right up here. If you click in here, you'll see a lot of the patterns for free. So we can also filter this website. Again, all the patterns that you're going to be seeing on the Filcolana website, as far as I know, are free. So let's have a look here. You can filter based on the yarn you're using, the type, special techniques, pattern, language. So let's see what they have in languages: Danish, English. Yeah, pretty good selection, I would say. So let's look at the English patterns. They have close to 600 English patterns. on here. So let's look at some of these. All right, so we have some beautiful, beautiful patterns right here. Let's look at the Celia. Looks like a pattern that uses Saga and Tilia together. And yeah, definitely also fits the bill of, you know, high-end aesthetic. It looks like there's some pearl bumps, and this is kind of a textured oversized pattern, sweater pattern, and it looks absolutely beautiful as well. And if you're interested in any of these patterns, just, you know, find one that you like, click on it, and then you'll have a little screen right here telling you download free pattern, and you'll be able to download in the language that you choose. So in my case, I'm gonna download the pattern in English, and we have right here, if I open it, the Filcolana pattern here. So let's have a look a little bit more. I know that most of us are interested in the sweater patterns or so let's go check out. They have adult sweater patterns, so close to 400. A beautiful pattern by Filcolana here is called the Anneli. I really love this design. So if you look at it, it has kind of the same increase, so it's a top-down raglan cardigan, and it has similar increases to the Felix cardigan by Amy Christoffers, if you're familiar with that one. So I featured this in one of my previous videos, but I just wanted to highlight it here because I think this is such a beautiful, stunning design. And here you can really see those increases on how they did those increases for that raglan. It's really, really similar to the Felix cardigan by Amy Christoffers. So again, Filcolana has some wonderful, absolutely beautiful designs. And again, if I just wanted to download this, I just go over here, pattern in English, and voila, I would have it in English. And that was Filcolana. And now let's look at that last secret website that I want to show you. So last one is going to be called Järbö. I think it's a Swedish yarn company. And the thing about Järbö is if you go to their website, it's only in Swedish. I mean, I tried to translate it into English. I can actually show you how I do this. So if you go to the Järbö website, sometimes Google, if you're using Google as your browser, will automatically translate the website into English for you. However, as you see up here, these headers here are still in Swedish. And I don't know about you, but I don't speak Swedish, but I believe that this mönster is called knitting patterns. And if we click here, you'll see some knitting patterns. However, these ones here are all in they're all in Swedish. So even it says, you know, it says gratis, PDF. Gratis means free. I know that much because I speak German. It's the same thing in German, I guess Swedish as well. So if I click on here, unfortunately, I'm only going to be able to download this pattern in Swedish. So let me show you what you can do instead. I was able to find the Järbö store on Ravelry, and they have over 700 knitting patterns in English that we can be checking out as well. So I don't know why they don't offer their knitting patterns on their own website in English, but they did upload a lot of their knitting patterns that they have on their website in Swedish in English in Ravelry, so you can easily go download those. And I'll have all links down below. So if you're interested in knitting some of these patterns in English, just go check out the link below and you'll be directed to the Ravelry store. In any case, let's go check them out right here. You'll see pattern source is Järbö Ravelry store. It's all already filtered in English for you guys. So let's go check out, for example, this Maya cardigan. And I think with Järbö, they also work with different designers. They definitely work with different designers. I don't know if they're in-house designers or independent designers. If you know, leave a comment down below. I'd love to learn about this. But in any case, if you click into one of these patterns that you're interested in and you'd like to look at or knit, go click in it, and then you'll see this pattern is available for free as a Ravelry download. So click this link. I'm sure you've already done this before, but then you can see there's all the different languages that they offer this particular pattern in. And you know the rest. I'm sure you're familiar with Ravelry. I don't have to go through the whole thing with you. And I just wanted to mention this as well, just because, you know, these patterns are obviously all on Ravelry. They've been updated in Ravelry. However, you know, if you're just filtering all the time but buy free patterns on Ravelry. Some of them won't have the same vibe as the Järbö store, and you really have to go kind of like dig through so many thousands of patterns. And this way, if you're just looking at the storefront of this particular yarn company, you don't have to go through all those other patterns that you may or may not be interested in. So this is just a little shortcut for you that I definitely wanted to share as well. So there you have it. I shared 5 of my secret websites with you. I know, some of them, like the Drops website, may not have been that exciting for you. You probably would have known about that. But I think, some of them, at least for me, the Filcolana one, I only figured that out a couple months ago, and I really wanted to share with you. So again, we went over 2 Norwegian yarn companies, 1 Finnish yarn company, a Swedish yarn company, and a Danish yarn company. So really focused on that Scandinavian minimalist aesthetic. So again, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you thought. Did I miss anything? Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next week.